Hey guys, as you know, I'm not an astronomer and I don't have a degree and I've never even taken a class in astronomy, but I promise you that I am going to do my very, very best to give you accurate information. And any time that I discover that I'm wrong about something, I'll let you know as soon as I can. And also, if you ever hear me say anything that you know for a fact is wrong, please let me know and send me a personal message. But I want to um, clarify a few things, and I think I've figured this out. I think I figured out what the angels are trying to say. The star in the eastern sky is Venus, and the star in the western sky is Saturn. Venus is in the constellation of Capricorn, and Saturn is in the constellation of Virgo. Okay, so I verified this. I'm going to show you on Google Earth as well. So, see, here is Saturn in the constellation of Virgo. The comet, as we've all seen, is in the same area of the sky as Saturn. They don't have it in my Google Earth. Maybe some of you have an updated version, I don't know. But the comet is somewhere over here. I'm not exactly sure where. Really quickly, the interesting thing that I want to point out is that there's a constellation up here called Comet Berenices. And what that means is tail of the comet. And I find that really interesting, considering that Comet Elenin is right over here somewhere. Let me show you real quick. See right here it says the coma of Coma Berenices is the Latin word for hair of the head or cloud around the head of a comet. And then also it says down here that Aristotle used come, the Greek word for hair of the head, to mean luminous tail of a comet. So I think there's something going on here, possibly. That's this constellation here. Another interesting thing about this particular alignment here is that Saturn appears to be in the belly of Virgo. Now, Virgo is represented as a female. And let me just read to you a scripture from Revelation that talks about a constellation in the sky. As you probably know, St. John had these visions and wrote them down, and they're about the end of days. It's all about the end of days. So, Revelation chapter 12 says, "And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon its heads. And its tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to deliver, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule the nations with a rod of iron. And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the great dragon was cast out, and they overcame the dragon by the blood of the Lamb." So, I am not even going to attempt to interpret that entire thing. But I do think it's interesting that they're talking about a great red dragon before the Virgin, before Virgo, because Comet Elenin is over here, and Virgo has 12 stars right in here. Let me show you this. The astronomer Professor Thorley has shown that there are exactly 12 stars surrounding the head of Virgo as we view them from Earth. If one will look at Norton's star atlas, 12 visible stars will be seen around Virgo's head. They are, and then he names them. There's 6 stars in the southern hemisphere around the head of Virgo, and there are 6 stars in the northern hemisphere around the head of Virgo. So I don't think there's any question that St. John was seeing the constellation of Virgo. And I think it's interesting that the planet Saturn is in the belly of Virgo, and St. John saw a vision that the woman was pregnant and giving birth. And St. John saw the vision of a great red dragon before the woman ready to devour the child. Now, I don't know exactly what before would be. These are the 2 arms, and these are the 2 legs. Comet Elenin is right around here, and it's moving up in this direction. So that's interesting, because I think it's going to be up here later this year. Well, that would be considered before the woman who is pregnant, right? I'm not sure if Saturn is ever depicted holding a rod of iron. I guess that would be something I'll look up later. Let's go over here and I'll show you where Venus is. Okay, here's where Venus is right now. Here you can see the moon. Here's Venus. Here's Neptune here. That looks like Mars. And this is the constellation of Capricorn. So, okay, when you go in a little bit closer, you can see that right above Capricorn is the Saturn nebula. So, I was talking yesterday about how Capricorn is represented by the goat, and you always see those ancient depictions of Santa sitting on the goat. I think that might have something to do with that myth, with the Saturn nebula here. So I don't really know what that means, but that's that. But I think that vision that St. John had of the woman in the heavens giving birth, I think that it does make sense that would be Virgo, and that the comet is the great dragon. And possibly Saturn is the baby that the woman has. I don't know. I'm guessing. Okay, so here is the other thing that I wanted to show you. So here's the sun, here's Venus, here's Earth, there's Elenin, and that's Saturn. So the way it works is when we're standing right here at sunrise, Venus is in the eastern sky and Saturn is in the western sky. Now this ties into the vision that both angels showed me. The 2 angels showed me that there would be a star in the west and a star in the east, and I didn't understand what that meant, but I think this is what it means. The angels, I believe, were telling me that I need to go to the mountains when the star in the west and the star in the east are a mirror image of each other. So if you were standing on the ground and you pointed to the star in the west with one hand and you pointed to the star in the east with the other hand, your arms would make a V. And I now think that they were telling me that if you point at Venus and Saturn, your arms will make a V. And when that happens, that's the time to go to safety. I believe that is going to happen possibly around March 22nd, because I'm going to show you right here. Here are the horizons of Earth. Here is the angle from Earth to Venus. Here is the angle from Earth to Saturn. So, as you can see, the angle appears to be about the same. So maybe a few days before or after, you can figure it out yourself. But for me, I was already thinking that around March 20th was the time I was going to go, because I was thinking that the star in the east would be around 75 degrees. I really don't know if this is correct. It just looks like it is to me. And so I wanted to share it with you. Another interesting bit of information for you is that the European Union's flag has 12 stars in it. And 12 has always been a magic number in our ancient texts. I mean, it's 12 stars around the head of Virgo, 12 hours in the clock, 12 months in a year, 12 constellations around the ecliptic of the zodiac, 12 apostles of Jesus, 12 sons of Jacob, 12 tribes of Israel, 12 biblical minor prophets, 12 days of Christmas, 12 Olympian gods, and so on and so on. 12 hues in the color wheel. So 12 was a really significant number for some reason. We all know that the elites know what's going on. They've had the resources to do all this research already, so it's not an accident. I mean, they know all about this comet. They know that it's coming. They've been preparing for it. So it sounds to me like St. John was seeing a vision of the comet. Again, I hope you guys will do your own research and let me know if you find any inaccuracies.